The room had open windows to let the springtime through. Evening stood by watching at the sight of summer's promise. The flowers in her garden were the envy of a friend. Far away from dying, is it nearly at an end? Far away from dying, is it nearly at an end? Okay, it's been some time since I posted something here, but better late than never. Instead of grinding on through the details, and I'll come back to that soon, I want today share a few big picture observations which I make when I compare Moon's divine principle with other spiritual teachings. As a spiritual teaching, it encourages a spirit-centered view of life, the universe and everything, and of course there are quite a few others around to do that. Some which I am personally familiar with are the work of Eckhart Toelle. He wrote the book Power of Now. Another book is A New Earth. He also has an internet presence. Check it out sometimes, real good stuff. Then there is David Hawkins. He wrote a lot of books. The most popular of them is probably his Power versus Force, where he also introduces the map of consciousness. I want to talk about that some other time actually. Then there is A Course in Miracles, which allegedly in the 1970s has been dictated to an American woman by Jesus Christ himself. Of course there are many others around. There are the many Buddhist-based teachings, Christian mystics, other Asian, Middle East religions, and they all have a lot in common, I find, in terms of spiritual truth. And then, of course, there is, you guessed it, the reason for me being here and doing this is the divine principle of Sun, Myung, Moon. Of all the teachings that I have encountered, I can confidently say, in my humble opinion of course, that the divine principle is the most profound and complete. It presents a solid systematic framework to make up your own mind, as I say. A framework which explains the intention of the Creator in creating the universe, the blueprint of the original design, you might say, another term for saying the purpose of our existence. It also explains the process and details of the fall from Eden, which is the reason for the world we are living in, a world that, if that was God's will, well, I mean, what was he thinking, right? You might ask. Well, the divine principle's answer is that the fall from Eden was not the will of the Creator, it was against God's will, and consequently it explains how God worked in history to re-establish the lost relationship between himself and humankind, lost due to that fall from Eden. And in that real big context that it presents here, all the world religions emerge as compatible, complementary pathways to that one big goal of ultimately becoming one with the Creator. So while I usually focus on the overlap of all these teachings, today I want to describe a few areas where the divine principle differs significantly from other teachings, going beyond that. So here's a list of points which I'd like to discuss. It's not necessarily complete, it flowed from my mind while I wrote this down, and I will go through the points one by one. Let's start at the top of the list. That's always a sensible choice. The purpose of form. What's form, you ask? Well, the way I use the term here is, first of all, this kind of stuff here. Physical objects that we can see and touch, we interact with them with our bodies, perceive them with our senses. Ultimately they make up the physical universe. Yeah, that's form. But humans also have a spirit, and there's a spiritual universe which is the environment for the human spirit. It's an invisible but substantial world which we can perceive with our spirits, interact with our spiritual bodies. Not everybody can. Most people don't. So if you don't, it's not a problem, it's not an issue here, but the spiritual world, the spiritual aspect of reality also is considered form. Human thoughts and emotions, which occur in our spirit, affecting our bodies, they're also form. What's not form then? The Creator isn't. The Creator created form. Something in us also is formless and can relate to the formless Creator. So many religions and spiritual teachings then consider this physical universe a transitory stage that will be left behind once its purpose has been fulfilled or vanish. Many Christians, for example, believe that when Jesus Christ returns, he will judge the living and the dead, and then the earth will be destroyed. Or the universe will be destroyed, because not only will the sun go dark, but the stars will fall from heaven, all kind of things will happen, a real disaster scenario. But not everybody believes this, not everybody expects a violent end of the world, but more or less all spiritual teachings assume that in order to fulfill our human potential and achieve enlightenment, we ultimately have to withdraw from the world. And that even the spiritual world, the spiritual aspect, is to be transcended and left behind. According to divine principle, however, both the spiritual and the physical universe share a God-given purpose, and they will continue to exist even after the goal of religion, the purpose of religion, has been fulfilled. There is a world that ends, also according to divine principle, but that is the fallen world, the world of the fall from Eden, which we built based on our fallen minds that are unaware of the presence of God. In the original design, however, we are supposed to live a long and healthy life in harmony with our original, unfallen mind. We grow old and die and then enter spirit world as a divine spirit that is one with the Creator. That, according to divine principle, is the plan of the Creator, and no matter what they tell you elsewhere, this is what is beginning to happen in our days. This now then brings us to the second point on the list, the purpose and goal of human life. Throughout the ages, spiritual seekers strove to transcend the mediocre state of human affairs and attain enlightenment. Some succeeded, but for most people the goal appears to be elusive. According to divine principle, however, oneness with God, enlightenment, is our birthright, the birthright of every human being in existence. In the plan of the Creator, humans were meant to reach this state of being early in their lives. At the end of a relatively brief growing period, they were supposed to enter what the divine principle calls the direct dominion of God. That would have occurred even before they married and became parents. This realm is beyond the great void that some people mention. It is a realm of love with a capital L. Unconditional love that makes no distinction of its object, extends to everything that exists, just because it exists. In this state, we experience boundless joy which does not depend on form. It enables us to truly take ownership of the universe and thus fulfill the purpose of our existence. Details later. The state of direct dominion of God transcends time and space, endures throughout our life on earth, and continues eternally after we enter the spirit world as a divine spirit. Unfortunately, though, due to the fall from Eden, humanity got stuck in the middle and lower realms almost from day one. In the world of the fall, the idea of experiencing God, let alone becoming one with Him, appears like a dream. However, the fall was not planned by the Creator, and the resulting world of the fall is alien to our original mind. Because of this, The world of the fall is a temporary phenomenon. According to divine principle, our days are the beginning of its end. Only goodness is eternal.